Let's talk some Tennessee recruiting. Knoxville was the spot to be coming out of the dead period when it comes to visits. Now, it was a small group that was on campus, but Tennessee fans pay attention because every prospect that was on campus this weekend is a priority for Josh Heupel and his staff. And in this video, on a weekend of important targets on campus, we are talking about the most important. That's it. Number one wide receiver, Tristan Keys. He's uncommitted, but we're going to find out how Tennessee did during this visit. I got Matt Ray from Volquest, and we're going to break it all down. But Tennessee fans, do me a favor real quick and hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. This is the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube. All right, let's bring in Matt Ray from Volquest. Busy day out there in Knoxville. How many days is Tristan Keys in town for?
So Tristan Keys will be in town through tomorrow afternoon, Monday afternoon. He will have a chance to watch second practice of the spring for Josh Heupel and company as things can kind of continue to intensify on the practice field there in Knoxville.
All right. Now, I saw you got a chance to speak with him yesterday about halfway through this visit. What's he been doing, and how does it sound like it's going?
Yeah, so he got into town yesterday afternoon and immediately went over to the basketball game and had a chance to take in the senior day festivities as Tennessee was able to put South Carolina away after a pretty competitive game in the first half. So he kind of jumped right into full visit mode once he got there, got around Josh Heupel, Kelsey Pope, Joey Halsley, and the Tennessee coaching staff, as well as Faison Brandon and Tyreek King and Carson Snead. So Tennessee's high-powered offensive commitments were back in town, and they wanted to be there, be around Tristan Keys, and that's kind of how the weekend kicked off for him. And he was all smiles when I had a chance to catch up with him yesterday afternoon.
All right. We talk a lot of Tristan Keys on this channel, whether it be with insiders like yourself, with Chad Simmons, Steve Wiltfong, and everybody, they might say it a little differently, but everybody says, Tennessee's the team to beat. They're out front. They have the edge. What do you think? Where do you think Tennessee stands right now in this whole Tristan Keys recruitment? And also, when do you think it's going to come to an end?
Yeah, so I think for Tristan, when I talked to him multiple times in the fall, the idea was to have a decision out of the way by now. He wanted to have this thing knocked out by the 1st of March initially. But when you're the number one wide receiver in the country, that's really not easy to do. You have to start having schools pull you in different directions as more focus turns into the 2026 class. But after 2 visits in basically 4 weeks for Tristan Keys to Knoxville last fall, Tennessee had obviously solidified themselves as a contender and put themselves in a really good spot. In talking with him yesterday, that relationship's only going to grow. Tennessee's continued to do everything very well in this recruitment. They've connected with him well. His bond with Faison Brandon is really key. That's something that's really important to him. And I continue to feel like Tennessee's right at the top or in that top group of schools for him as we start to head toward official visits. Obviously, he's going to take a handful of visits again this spring, but I think official visits are going to be the key in this one. As he gets back, he gets one final look at these campuses, I think he would like to make a decision ahead of his senior season there in Hattiesburg, and we'll kind of see where it goes. Again, number one wide receiver, those guys are going to be recruited to the finish line, so this is a long game for Tristan Keys. No official visits, on the docket to my knowledge to like an Ole Miss right now, but that the in-state schools are not just going to let him ride off quietly into the night. So this is a recruitment that I can see a commitment coming in the summer, but it's obviously going to be the long game as it is for these elite guys.
Yeah. So what's next for Tennessee and Keys? Was this the last visit before those summer official visits, or is there a chance he pops back up in Nashville or Knoxville before then? All right, Inside Scoop listeners, I got to tell you about Roback activewear. There's only one way to describe Roback. It's best fit, best feel. I'm wearing it right now. I love it. And for those, if you're not familiar with Roback, they are completely changing the game with their incredibly comfortable activewear. Roback has released so many items within their new licensed game day collection, and it's our favorite. With novel polo designs, clean hoodies, quarter zip designs for some of your favorite schools, it's definitely worth checking out. So, nobody else on the market is pairing these level of custom designs with this quality of activewear. Roback's everyday shorts or their Delta Performance pants are the perfect pairing as well. They are both super comfortable. They have an elastic waistband and a great fabric that is made to have the appearance of a nice short look, but the comfort of everyday on-the-move wear. Roback has also proudly been leading the NIL charge, having signed partnerships with multiple college football stars, past and present, and are becoming the go-to brand for college athletes across this country. So here's what we're going to do. Use promo code JOSH on Roback.com for a generous 20% off all new customers through the end of this week. That's spelled RHOBACK.com, and that's 20% off all performance polos, shorts, and more with promo code JOSH.
I wouldn't rule that out completely yet. Tennessee's done a really good job of getting guys that they prioritize, like Keys, back to campus, as often as they can. You kind of look back at the David Sanders recruitment and what they were able to do with getting him there from Charlotte, 2 times in an 8-day span last cycle. It's a little bit further for Keys coming from Mississippi, but we'll see. Tennessee will certainly work to get him back to campus. But as of now, the next step is the official visit, and that will be during a busy month of June for him.
All right, you mentioned that quarterback Faison Brandon, who's committed to Tennessee, was in town. We know he spent time with Keys. Were there any other guys that he's kind of working on while he was in Knoxville?
Yeah, so, for the offensive side of the ball, really yesterday, the uncommitted prospect in town was Tristan Keys. But in talking with Faison Brandon, he said, he kind of laughingly said, I would need my phone to give you an list of who and all I'm recruiting. But 2 guys he quickly pointed out outside of Keys was Darius Gray, 4-star offensive lineman from up in Virginia, and then 5-star running back Savion Hyder from up in Virginia as well. Faison Brandon has made a strong connection with both of those guys and is recruiting both of those guys heavily to join him in Knoxville.
All right. A lot of intel up on Volquest as we speak. Tennessee fans, go check it out. There's so much intel coming out of this weekend. But, Matt, since I got you here, what else did you learn from this weekend's visits that Tennessee fans need to know?
Well, I think for me, a big point for this weekend was to kind of see where Tennessee could be with the 2 guys from up north, and Joey O'Brien, 4-star safety, top 100 prospect, and 4-star defensive lineman Damari Simeon. And Tennessee showed really well with both of those guys. They got into town on Friday, stayed through Saturday afternoon, and according to everything that I've gathered, those visits went about as well as they could have gone for Tennessee. Tennessee battling for an official visit with Simeon, and we'll see where that one goes. I would not be shocked to see the Vols get an official visit for the standout defensive lineman from New Jersey. He's kind of hit off with this Tennessee coaching staff since they offered him during the winter. It was important for him to get back down here once his dead period lifted. He wanted to get a look at Tennessee because of the way that they've recruited him since that offer. And then with O'Brien, he's a guy that's been to campus before, and Tennessee checked on during the contact period, has shown a lot of attention to. It was big for me to see him get back down here because that kind of showed me he's truly serious about Tennessee, and he said as much himself. The way they've recruited him, they're one of, if not the only school recruiting him to play 3 positions inside the secondary, and he's a big, long defensive back, weighed in around 190 pounds, 6'4.5", and Tennessee's telling him that he can play the safety position, he can play the star position, or he could even play cornerback, and that is something that's appealing to him, and he has already locked in an official visit. So this was another step in the right direction for Tennessee to be in the long game for Joey O'Brien, a guy that's coveted by schools across the country.
All right. Well, Tennessee wasted no time coming out of the dead period to get things popping. Tennessee fans, talk to us. Let us know. How do you guys feel about Tristan Keys? Is Tennessee going to land the number 1 wide receiver in America? Let us know.